welcome back again to my channel. So today we will be talking about how to solve quadratic equations by completing the square. Based on observation, many students have claimed that completing the square is the most difficult way in solving quadratic equations. But no worries because I'm here to help. So I hope you stay with me, watch my video till the end, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. Alright, to begin, let's get to know what we are dealing with. Okay, so I have here a binomial. When you say binomial, it is an expression with two terms. So you have 1, 2. Once we square our binomial, we will get a perfect square trinomial, meaning to say an expression with 3 terms. So how do we do that? We will simply expand our binomial squared. So you have quantity x plus 2 times quantity x plus 2. Okay, so it's just they are just equal. Okay, so we expand by applying FOIL method. X times x, we get x squared. X times positive 2, we get 2x. 2 times x, still we get 2x. And 2 times 2, we will get 4. Combine like terms, so in this case 2x and 2x. So x squared plus 2x and 2x, that is 4x, and then copy 4. So from our binomial x plus 2, it was squared, we get a perfect square trinomial, an expression with 3 terms. So 1, 2, and 3. Now, in this case, there is actually a shortcut. We can actually determine the perfect square trinomial right away without even going to this process. Okay, so how do we do that? So these are the steps. So perfect square trinomial in an instant. So first, we square the first term. Okay, so in this case, you have x plus 2, right? So your x is the first term, your 2 is the second term. So what's the square of the first term? You have x squared, right? Next, we multiply the first term and the second term. Multiply the first term and the second term and double the answer. Or multiply it by 2. Sorry, it's not good. So double the answer or multiply by 2. Okay, so in this case, the first and the second. So you have x times 2, you get 2x. And then we double it, so times 2, we get 4x. Lastly, we square the second term. So in this case, the second term is 2. So 2 squared, that is equal to 4. So all in all, we got x squared plus 4x plus 4. So actually, it's just the same with this. Okay, let's try. Okay, let's have quantity x plus 3 squared. So first term is x, second term is 3. So again, let's go to the process. The first step is we square the first term. So our first term is x. The square of x is x squared. And then we multiply the first and the second. So x times 3, 3x. And then we double. So 3x times 2, that is 6x. And lastly, we square the second term. The second term is 3. So 3 squared is 9. So x plus 3 squared is equal to x squared plus 6x plus 9. Let's check. Okay, let's have x plus 3 times x plus 3. So x times x, that is x squared. X times 3, that is 3x. 3 times x, that is 3x. 3 times 3, that is equal to 9. So combine like terms, x squared. So 3x and 3x, that is 6x plus 9. So the same. Have another one. Say for example, we have 2x minus 1, and then we square this. So quantity 2x minus 1 squared. So the first term is 2x. The second term is negative 1. So let's go through the steps. So the step 1 is square the first term. So 2x, and then you square. So you will get 4x squared. Why? Because the square of 2 is 4. The square of x is x squared. That's why 2x squared, you will get 4x squared. Second step, multiply the first and the second term. So 2x times negative 1, that would be equal to negative 2x. Because positive and negative, when you multiply, you will get a negative answer. So 2x times 1, that is 2x. And then positive, negative, you will get negative. So that's why the answer is negative 2x. And then we double. So that will become negative 4x. Okay? And then the third step is square the second term. So the second term is negative 1. Negative 1 squared, you will get positive 1. So that is our answer. Let's check. So let's expand. 2x minus 1 times 2x minus 1. So 2x times 2x, you will get 4x squared. 2x times negative 1, that is negative 2x. And then negative 1 times 2x, that is still negative 2x. And negative 1 times negative, negative and negative will become positive. And 1 times 1, that is equal to 1. So combine like terms, in this case negative 2x and negative 2x. So copy 4x squared. Combine, you will get negative 4x and then plus 1. So it's just the same. So I hope you now know how to transform squared binomials into perfect square trinomials. So again, these are the steps. Square the first term. Next, multiply the first and the second term. And do not forget to double it or times 2. And then you square the second term and you're done. Alright, another basic skill that you need to know is this. Getting half and squaring the answer. So I call it half and squared. So say for example you have 4. So what's half of 4? That is 2, correct. So 1/2 of 4 is 2. So how do you get that? You simply multiply 4 with 1/2. So you got 4 over 2, and 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2. So half of 4 is 2. And the square of 2 is equal to 4. So half is 2, and the square of the half is 4. So that is the answer. Okay, let's have another. Let's have 5. So what is half of 5? Okay, so simply you multiply 5 with 1/2. So 5 times 1, you got 5 over 2. Because 5 has a denominator 1, which is imaginary. So 5 times 1 is 5, 1 times 2, that's 2. So 5 divided by 2 is equal to 2.5. That's correct. So they are equal. But we don't want the decimal form. We want the fraction form or the whole number form. So we won't be using this. So simply the half of 5 is 5 over 2. And the square of the half is, you have 5 squared, that's 25. And 2 squared, that is 4. So the answer is 25 and 4. So half is 5 over 2. and the square of its half is 25 over 4. Okay, let's have another. What if you have 7 over 3? So what's 1/2 of 7 over 3? So simply you multiply 7 over 3 with 1/2. So 7 times 1, that is 7. 3 times 2, that is 6. So you have 7 over 6. Now what's the square of 7 over 6? So we square. So the square of 7 is 49 and the square of 6 is 36. So for this, our answer is 7 over 6 as its 1/2 and 49 over 36, which is its square. So I hope it's clear. Okay, this skill is very useful in solving your quadratic equation by completing the square. Since I have already showed you the basic skills needed, so I guess you are now ready to learn how to solve quadratic equation by completing the square. Okay, so let's have this as an example. You have 2x squared plus 8x minus 10 equals 0. So as you can see, this is a quadratic equation in its standard form. So let's have a quick recall. So ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. That's the standard form. Wherein ax squared is the quadratic term, bx is the linear term, and c is your constant. Okay, so to solve by completing the square, these are the steps. So step number 1, divide the equation by your a. So in this case, our a is 2. So we divide the entire equation by 2. So if our numerical coefficient here is 3, divide by 3. If it's 5, divide by 5. If it's 1, then no need. Okay, so our goal here, why we are dividing the equation by a, is that we want to have 1 as the numerical coefficient of our quadratic term. Okay, so let's do this. So you have 2x squared divided by 2. Cancel because 2 over 2 becomes 1. So what remains is just x squared. Next, you have 8x divided by 2. So we get 4x because 8 divided by 2 is 4. Then you have negative 10 divided by 2. That's negative 5. So 10 divided by 2, that's 5. So negative. So minus 5 equals 0 because 0 divided by 2 is just 0. So from this equation, we now have our new equation, x squared plus 4x minus 5 equals 0. Okay, step number 2, that is constant to the right. Constant to the right. So in this case, our constant is negative 5. Transfer it to the right, making our equation to become x squared plus 4x on this side, and then positive 5 on the right side. So why it's positive? Because we transferred it to this side, making it positive from negative. So the new equation now is x squared plus 4x equals 5. Now third step, we get half of our b, and then we square and add it to the equation. So I repeat, we need to get half of b and then we square it and then we add the answer to the equation. So in this case, our b is 4. Ax squared plus bx plus c. So b is the numerical coefficient of the linear term. So in this case, we have 4x, so the b is 4. So we get half of 4. So times 1/2, we get 4 divided by 2, which is equal to 2, and then we square. And the square of 2 is 4. So we need to add 4 to our equation. Okay, so we now have x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 5 plus 4. Now, why are we adding 4 to 5? It's because we added 4 to the left side. We need to add 4 to the right side because it's an equation. Whatever you do to the right, you do it to the left. Whatever you do to the left, you do it to the right. So in this case, since we added 4 to the left, we also have to add 4 to the right. If you added 7 here, you need to add 7 here. Okay? If it's 8, you need to add 8 here. Okay, so from this, we now have a perfect square trinomial, which is x squared plus 4x plus 4 on the left side. Okay, so we are down to step number 4. Step number 4 is transform our perfect square trinomial to binomial squared. Okay, so how do we do that? Simply extract the square root of the first term. So the square root of x squared is x, and extract the square root of the third term. So the square root of 4 is 2. And then we copy the symbol in between, so that's positive. And then we put square. Equals 5 plus 4, that's 9. So we now have the quantity x plus 2 squared equals 9. Okay? Step number 5, extract the square roots. Extract the square roots. So we extract the square root of quantity x plus 2 squared and the square root of 9. So the square root of x plus 2 squared is just x plus 2. And then the square root of 9 is positive negative 3. So in this case, we're down to step number 6, that is solve for x. So we can split this one. You have x plus 2 equals, we get the positive 3, and the other one, x plus 2 equals negative 3. Okay, so solve for x. So transfer 2 to the other side, making it into negative 2. So x equals 3 minus 2. X equals 3 minus 2 is 1. So we have now x equals 1 as our first solution. And then this one, solve for x, transfer 2 to the other side, making it negative 2. So we will now have x equals negative 3 minus 2. So x equals negative 5. So we have negative 5 as our second solution. Okay, step number 7, we check our answer. So check your answers. Okay, so when we check, we need to go back to the original equation. So we check x equals 1. So you have 2x squared, original equation, plus 8x minus 10 equals 0. Okay, so substitute 2 times 1 squared plus 8 times 1 minus 10 equals 0. So 1 squared is just 1. 1 times 2, that's 2. Plus 8 times 1, that's 8, minus 10 equals 0. Okay, so since we are checking, so 2 plus 8, that's 10, minus 10 equals 0. So 10 minus 10 is really indeed equal to 0. Therefore, x equals 1 is the correct solution. Let's check the second. X equals negative 5. So we go back to the original equation. You have 2x squared plus 8x minus 10 equals 0. So 2 times your x is negative 5 squared plus 8 times negative 5 minus 10 is equal to 0. So negative 5 squared, that is 25. So 2 times 25 plus 8 times 5, that's negative 40, minus 10 is equal to 0. It's a question mark. Okay, so 2 times 25, that is 50. And positive times negative, that is negative. So we copy 40 minus 10 equals 0. Okay, 50 minus 40, that's 10. So 10 minus 10 is equal to 0. 10 minus 10, that's 0. Therefore, it's correct. So x equals negative 5 is also the correct solution. So our solutions, we have x equals 1 and x equals negative 5. Okay, so again, these are the steps needed for you to solve quadratic equation by completing the square. Okay, let's try another example. Okay, I will erase. Okay, so let's try x squared plus 9x plus 8 is equal to 0. So in this case, we are lucky because the value of our a is already 1, so we won't be doing step number 1. We will proceed to step number 2 right away. So constant to the right. Okay, so the constant is 8, transfer it to the right. So what remains on this side would be x squared plus 9x equals positive 8 to the right will become negative 8. Next, step number 3, we get 1/2 of b. So our b is 9. 9 is the value of b. We get 1/2. So that's actually 9 over 2. Or that's 9 times 1/2. We get 9 over 2. We leave it as it is. And then we square. Okay, so the square of 9 is 81. The square of 2 is 4. So we will be adding 81 over 4 to the equation. So x squared plus 9x plus 81 over 4 equals negative 8 plus, since you added 81 over 4 to this side, we also have to add 81 over 4 to the right side. Okay, next. So this is now a perfect square trinomial. So transform this into a binomial squared. So how do you do that again? Extract the square root of the first term, so that is x. Extract the square root of the third term. So 81 square, the square root of 81 is 9. The square root of 4 is 2. So you have 9 over 2. And then the sign in between is positive. So you just put square there. Okay? So 8 plus 81 over 4. So we get the LCD. So we can combine. Plus 81 over 4. So the LCD is 4. So 4 divided by 1, that's 4 times 8, that's negative 32. Plus 4 divided by 4, that's 1 times 81, so that's 81. Okay, so you have 32 plus 81. So in this case, that's 81 minus 32, that is 9. 7 minus 3, that's 49. So we have 49 over 4. So we need to subtract because they have different signs. Okay? So 49 over 4. So 49 over 4. That's the result. Okay, next. Extract the square root. So the square root of this, 9 over 2, extract. And then the square root of 49 over 4. So the square root of this is just x plus 9 over 2 equals, the square root of 49 is 7, the square root of 4 is 2. Okay? And then we solve for x. So transfer x, by the way, this is positive, negative, sorry. So the square root of 49 over 4 is positive, negative 7 over 2. Okay, so solve for x. So x, we split. So we have x plus 9 over 2 equals the positive 7 over 2. The other one is x plus 9 over 2 equals negative 7 over 2. So just combine like terms. So we need to transfer this to the right side. So x equals 7 over 2 minus 9 over 2. From positive, it is now negative. So the same way, x equals negative 7 over 2 minus 9 over 2. And then since these are similar fractions, so we just simply copy the denominator and then we can automatically subtract the numerator. So in this case, 7 minus 9, that would be equal to negative 2 over 2, which is equal to negative 2 over 2, that's negative 1. So x equals negative 1. The other one, similar fractions again, we copy the denominator. And then we can just rewrite the numerator. So in this case, negative 7 minus 9, we will have negative 16 over 2. So negative 16 divided by 2, that's negative 8. So x equals negative 8. So we are done with steps 1 to 6. We are now moving on to the final step, which is checking your answer. So our answers are x equals negative 1 and x equals negative 8. 8. So we check. Make sure to always check your answer. Okay, so we start with x equals negative 1. We substitute this to the original equation. X equals negative 1. So x squared plus 9x plus 8 equals 0. So you have negative 1 squared plus 9 times negative 1 plus 8 equals 0. So negative 1 squared, that's 1. 9 times 1, that is just negative 9 plus 8 equals 0. So as you can see, 1 and 8 becomes 9. So you have negative 9 plus positive 9 equals 0. So is negative 9 plus 9 equal to 0? Yes, it is. So therefore, x equals negative 1 is correct. So let's proceed to x equals negative 8. So we substitute x squared plus 9x plus 8 equals 0. So substitute negative 8 squared plus 9 times negative 8 plus 8 equals 0. So 8 squared, negative 8 squared, that's positive 64. Plus 9 times 8, that's negative 72. Plus 8 equals 0. So as you can see, 64 and 8 will make positive 72. Copy negative 72 equals 0. Okay, so 72 minus 72, that is 0. Therefore, x equals negative 8 is the correct answer. Okay, so I hope you learned something, and I hope I was able to explain it well. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, and if you enjoy my video, please give it a like and then share it to all your friends. So thank you for watching and have a nice day. Goodbye.